as a bit of a homecoming for me. For you see, I left Los Angeles in 1973 as a 17-year-old boy. I set out to conquer the world. And although I have not conquered the world, I have slayed a few dragons along the way. I put down a few words that you might gain a small insight of who I am and from where I come. I have some personal notes, plus I am going to speak on a topic that I feel is a bit distressful, if not alarming, to our community. My early childhood through high school was spent in the City Terrace and Whiteside areas of East Los Angeles. My parents relocated us to that area so I could be near my best friend Eli. As young children, we all played in the streets, football, baseball, tag, hide and seek, any other game we could conjure up. We would stay out there until our dads came home from work and our moms would come out onto the porches of our wood-framed houses and yell for us to come in and get dinner. I could also tell you about growing up in the mean streets of East LA, how I avoided the gangs and how I overcame drugs, about how I learned my negotiation skills while winding my way up Gage Avenue from Belvedere Junior High School and crossing through the territories of not less than 4 well-established Latino gangs. And as I was writing this down, I realized that the audience that I was going to be speaking to probably has the same story, because you are all my neighbors. But the topic I spoke that was troubling me begins with this banner right here, the Toastmasters banner. This banner represents the Toastmasters International, an international organization that has branches across the world. An organization that's available to all races and all creeds. As I was reviewing our membership page on the Voces Latinas website, I noticed that Toastmasters asks each member to sign up to the Toastmasters Promise. The Toastmasters Promise are 10 rules that the International Toastmasters and Voces Latinas feel are important. Now, whether you're from Los Angeles, Borneo, Prague, or Germany, we all look to this symbol and this banner as a united front. Another banner that we all hold dear to our hearts is this banner here, the American flag. I know we love this banner because I've heard in the last 3 meetings people stand up here and give accolades to their family members who have served in the armed forces. We pledge our allegiance to this flag before every meeting. We place our hand over our heart and we give our solemn oath to this banner. I also have family members who served in the armed forces. In every major conflict, World War I have nephews that are now serving and cousins that are serving in our current conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. I myself am a former Marine Sergeant. Both of my grandfathers supported the war effort during World War II. One of them was a sheep herder in New Mexico, raising livestock to feed the troops. My other grandfather was a railroad section foreman in the prairies of Wyoming, maintaining and securing the rails for our nation's troops and munitions to pass safely through to get to the port cities. It's there on these prairies that I learned to be a proud American. It's there that I saw my grandfather toil with Latino Americans and Native Americans to keep these things secure. I watched them as they worked together, they hunted together, fished together, they raised families together. They taught me that I could stand shoulder to shoulder with any man in this country, that we had earned our place to be counted among the patriots. I tell you these stories because of some incidents recently, some events that have been broadcast on the television. Images of young Latino high school students ripping down the American flag from the flagpole, tearing her from her home, and raising the Mexican flag. Shopkeepers raising the Mexican flag above the American standard. Angry Anglo veteran rips it down and raises the American flag up to where she belongs. I'm compelled to speak of this because Because just recently, we also were aghast that we had not been included in a very important documentary for World War II. We all believe that we're underrepresented in the corporate boardroom, in education, and even in governmental representation. And yet we see these images across our screens. It's very disheartening, to say the least. So I am compelled to highlight this issue and ask that each of us go back into our own communities, and that if ever we see these types of affronts to our flag, that we as Latino, Mexican, and Hispanic Americans, that we take action to set things right. For after all, have we not pledged our allegiance to her? Madam Toastmaster.